Hello everyone and welcome back to Meerkat Musings. I'm your host Ben, aka Daftamone, with a disclaimer here. I am not going to be unveiling anything about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2. I don't have any spoilers about it. I'm not sharing any leaks because I don't have access to any of that information. I'm simply talking about my own personal frustration at how long it's taking to get genuine, bona fide information about this new console from Nintendo themselves. It kind of, at this stage, baffles me that they have remained stubbornly silent for so long. Although, to be fair, it only baffles me to a point because this is a very Nintendo move. Nintendo, as I say, are stubborn, and they simply have point blank refused to update people officially about their new console. We've known for a long time it's coming. We've known that 2025 was the likely launch of the new console, although exactly when is still up in the air. I mean, I've seen dates floated around for April, but also for June. Of course, it's a bit vague at this point, and new rumours are dropping on an almost daily basis. I did have it in my head for some reason that Nintendo would say something on the 9th of January, but we're on the 9th of January and they have not even hinted that they will say anything today. So I guess that particular idea can be put to bed, although I know I'm recording this video in the morning. Who knows? Perhaps by the afternoon we'll have something. Who knows? But I suppose what I want to really ponder with this video, aside from the rumours about the console itself, and it's very hard to really talk decisively about rumours. What I wanted to talk about was whether or not this determined refusal to announce anything at all is helping or hindering Nintendo at this stage. It's been said on social media that this could be one of their greatest ever marketing campaigns because so far they haven't needed to do or say anything. So far, it's fan speculation left, right and centre, which is fueling a lot of interest in the Switch 2. And of course, we're assuming it's going to be called the Switch 2. It might not be. I mean, it seems to be that it will be the Nintendo Switch 2, but so far that's actually ultimately speculation in itself. And Nintendo are probably sitting back and thinking, we don't need to spend a penny on marketing and advertising at this point because everyone else is doing it for us. They're drumming up interest to a fever pitch level about the new console. And so Nintendo can just say, great, brilliant, we'll just relax, enjoy this, announce it when we're ready to. And also, as I've now said twice, and now for a third time, Nintendo are very, very stubborn. They always have been as a company. They've always insisted upon doing things in their way, on their terms, in their time. This can be argued is a source of strength, but it can also be argued that it's caused them problems in the past. They've had some misadventures as a result of their refusal to be anything other than, let's say, quirky. The Wii U comes to mind, of course. And their desire to defy convention can be a positive and a negative when it comes to the video game landscape. The GameCube was slightly hit and miss, but of course prior to that they had the Nintendo 64, which was a huge success story, and the Nintendo 64 stubbornly stuck to cartridges in a time where everyone else was going to optical media. They had the original Nintendo Wii, which was a phenomenal success, a very successful console for them in so many ways, and that of course brought in the motion controls and all that kind of thing. Then we had the Wii U, which was a bit of a convoluted mess. Another example of Nintendo trying something different, which didn't pay off. And then we had the Switch, which took the best elements of the Wii U and produced this unique hybrid handheld home console, which again has been a huge success. So you hope and expect Nintendo to build upon that, but as their history has shown, they will sometimes lurch between ideas. And whilst they've allowed speculation to build that the next console will indeed be the Switch 2, until we hear it from Nintendo themselves, we could all be being greatly punked here on an epic scale. It's not an absolute certainty that this console will actually be a Switch 2. As I say, it seems highly likely, but this is Nintendo we're talking about here. And there was lots of speculation about what the first Switch would be, back when it was still the NX project. And in so many ways, people were wildly off the mark there. So you rely upon rumours and leaks at your peril. You really do. The other side of all of this, of course, is, as I say, are Nintendo damaging themselves by frustrating their fan base, by not saying anything? And are they not leaving themselves enough time to do a proper job of marketing and advertising? The longer they leave it, the more these leaks take Nintendo's thunder, the more possibility there is for disappointment at the end of it all, the more possibility there is for one of their competitors to get a jump over them. So you have to start thinking to yourself, surely Nintendo have to flick a switch and say, right, we're going to take ownership and control now of this console and all the talk around it. Otherwise, they're just ceding power to, potentially highly misleading and even deliberately dishonest commentators. So that's kind of my take on where I'm at with the rumour mill and Nintendo's policy. I'm frustrated, basically. I'm as frustrated, I think, as an NX fan. I want to see what we're likely to get. I want an idea as to when we're likely to get it. An idea as to cost would be handy, because I need to know how to budget for this. And I just want to get my grubby paws on the next Nintendo console. I've had every Nintendo home console at one stage or another. I certainly almost desperately want the next one. And I want to sink my teeth into something that will hopefully be really, really good. And that leads me to, I will actually mention a little bit as to some of the rumours about the hardware. It's obviously, as I say, rumour, speculation. Don't take any of this as gospel in any way, shape or form. But what I'll say is, if the rumours are true, and that's a very big if, we're potentially looking at a console that is claimed to be similar to a PlayStation 4's level of performance, but of course a console which can be docked to a telly or used in handheld form. We're talking about a console that will be backwards compatible with existing Nintendo Switch games. Nintendo have already said that. So your existing library of games will work in the new Switch, which I think is very important, actually, to be fair, because otherwise Nintendo would have alienated a lot of fans, especially considering that Nintendo only brought out a new Zelda game and a new Mario game, for that matter, within the last sort of 12 to 18 months or so. To suddenly say to people, oh, you've got to buy it all again, that would be a kick in the teeth, and Nintendo have wisely decided not to do that. So that's something that we know is going to happen. The fact that it can run existing Switch cartridges and games does obviously strongly lend itself to the idea that we will be seeing a new, more powerful form of a Switch. There are rumours that the controllers will be magnetically clipped to the console in whatever form that takes. There's talk of some kind of optical sensor within the Joy-Con, which would act a little bit like a computer mouse. So that's a little bit of an unusual quirk, and not completely sure what purpose that would serve. There's some kind of new-looking, well, again, it's a rumour, it's a speculative thing, but there's a picture of what is meant to be a docking station for the new Switch Joy-Cons, which looks quite different, to be fair, to the existing sort of dock, as it were, in order to charge them. It's said that the existing Joy-Cons will work with the new Switch, albeit they can't be physically docked to the Switch 2 because of being the wrong size, and also not having the right connections. And it's, I believe, this is more of a personal guess here, if the existing Joy-Cons work with the new console, I believe the Pro controller should work with the new console as well. So, all of that being equal, so to speak, it sounds to me like everything is going to, work with everything in terms of controllers and things and games, which is a good positive step. But everything else, I mean, let's talk about the computer chips and the graphics chips. Well, is any of that genuine? There's people who claim to have seen the actual console itself, and then they've made 3D printouts based upon what they've seen and held, and there's all kinds of stuff like that going around. But until, as I say, we've got that definitive conclusion, let's not go too far with it. The only thing that I think strongly points to this being a new variant of the Switch is that on Amazon Japan, there was an official listing of some kind of new Switch case, which has obviously popped out there perhaps sooner than it should have. And so that was interesting. And it seems to imply that, some of these rumours are true. But nothing is true until it's confirmed. So everything should just be taken with a pinch of salt until we know for absolute certainty and until we hear it from Nintendo themselves. Those are my 2 cents.